But it seems like they're a little bit more entrenched now with Wild playing there. They've got Kara trying to put nades across the river, but just a bit out of range. Fortunately, they find that knock, and that could be a huge opportunity for all the teams around to make a move, including DRX.
Alpha 7 just trying to go for the swim. I think they had little options available to them, but the duo in DXAV have spotted them out, Levi's and Paragon. Not likely to let this cross go unharmed. Let's Korea will get knocked. Alpha Gaming made a long
time
fling over towards the eastern side. Sorry.
Yeah, it's been a difficult approach, but somehow Doc making that mad dash across the open Yaz fields.
So a bit of a self-nade, but it gets the job
That's
done.
Not great.
It does get the job. It does take down Lemon, right? Bit of collateral damage on his side. Not sure how he took 99% and Lemon took 100.
That happens, you know. Looks like he's pretty bare on the meds, though. Otherwise, you'd imagine his health bar would be a lot fuller than it is. That's the nade that'll do it. Final nail in the coffin on the south edge, and that res should be coming on through for the Mad Bulls. Thunder Talk are out, so our table toppers going to be taking another break. This is an opportunity. This is a big opportunity for the Mad Bulls to put a lot of distance in and see what they can find. Regnum Kaya, in the meantime, they have been busted down to one. Their east side shore outhold was dismantled by Kara, by a couple of other teams as well, but Kara have now fallen as well. So Wild may be a little bit more unknown here.
DRX, QXZ, still playing underneath. Regnum Kaya were picked to pieces. Only Wild left remaining, as per usual, as is customary. Alpha Gaming still playing as 4, but it's a rough approach for them.
Ooh, he doesn't have too many meds. Look at that. Only the 2 first aids. Doesn't want to overexpend himself. And needed to try and get a re-knock there. Levi's actually chiming in, but a nade bobbles its way over. DRX have to cross, and the blue zone's putting too much pressure on to make this one realistic here. I just don't think they're getting out of it. With Grisao as well on the far side. The nades coming through from the DXAV duo. Oh, it's dastardly. It's mischievous coming through from Paragon and Levi's. They are doing a lot of work for DXAV on this west side. They're up to 5 elims.
I know, it's paradoxical, but it works. This is what's happening for DXAV right now. I don't really understand it. I mean, the fact that they're in top 7 is wild to me. But as Pro go down to just 1 player as the arena takes some very big shots towards them, and with Aragon down towards the south side, very unlikely VP gets back up into the picture. Whoa. Good step up from DRX, jumping into the boat from Kaixev to get a separate different angle. More shots from DXAV trying to weaken them as much as possible, soften them up for this initial nade that's going to come over the top here.
DXAV not really going to have sightlines on them for too much longer. The nades need to be on target now, because stepping up and over, you can have Ulf starting to take shots at you. APG maybe even from a distance. But DRX may have just done the impossible. Getting across this river seemed like it was just not going to happen. But here we are, in a position to see it maybe coming on through. The Wolves surviving with a solo, by the way, on that south edge. So maybe that's where DRX go next.
Yeah, I mean, Doran's doing quite well for it. Alpha Gaming got torn apart. I mean, that position they took is not terrible, honestly, and I think Mad Bulls wanted it, but the speed at which they were plucked out of this game was quite astonishing from the Mad Bulls, who finally are having a bit of a resurgence today. It's been slightly less impressive towards the start of the day, some points here and there, but nothing crazy. But from that spot, you have a lot of control over the rest of the lobby. You're mainly just worried about Aragon and E-Arena, but you control these roadsides very well, and as long as that's possible, you have a great game in your hands. They still have to hope for a southeast shift on this one, and then it's very likely to be a Mad Bulls win.
Certainly would seem that way. Let's see where the circle goes. It goes pretty central, Blank, which gives Mad Bulls, again, probably one of the better positions. They could still play on those roadsides. They could still play on those ridges out towards the fields, the cover that they've already established. And the teams over towards the west side, I mean, it's a question of who gets the chance to try and move out towards where Ulf are playing.
Xavier forced to drop down as many smokes as possible to make this push work, but DRX very healthy now, and the nades start to bear fin. This is a crazy push from QXZ, looking for a little more. Hyunbin around the side. Paragin already down. Levi has a mental task ahead of him.
A revenge. Kaixei moves on in, but is going to be taken down from the backline. QXZ able to get the final blow there. Arena from the rooftops, making it a little bit tricky, but that res definitely will be possible. The smoke just about to fade there. And they'll get Hyunbin back up. Kaixei moves in, stopping Arena, or trying to anyway, on that angle. Drops down. DRX have to make another move now. Their zone still not in their favor. They've been through it now, and DRX definitely tested their mettle. And so far, it's looking pretty shiny.
It is. I mean, they have just been in the forge all day, slamming away on the Smith, because this has been a very, very different DRX to what we previously saw earlier. I've been quite impressed with what I've been looking at so far from DRX in these last couple of games. I mean, it was a bit of a weaker start on that chicken dinner, but then they stepped up from there. And I mean, it's always nice to see an interview come through and them stick to the guns from what their plan was, which was to get a little bit more aggressive, understand the lobby a little bit better, and they certainly have done that here. Shots going through over towards Mormon, but this kind of cover is very difficult to deal with, and DRX will need to use smoke to slowly work their way down on this cliff, because eventually this fight between E-Arena and DRX has to conclude.
I mean, the fact that Doran's still alive as well for Wolves is pretty crazy, especially given the compound he was sat in seemed to be prime real estate. Nobody really had the gumption, though, to go for it. He's been allowed to live for a little bit longer, despite obviously not having that many meds to his name. It is a tough time for Doran on that western edge. Next zone will pop on in. It goes very, very central again, and it keeps the Mad Bulls divots in. It keeps Ulf in, too.
This is right. I mean, this is the exact circle that no one really wanted. I think E-Arena and DRX probably most favored by this one. For the Mad Bulls, they have a very slim amount of area to play with. It depends whether they've got vehicles or not, John, because they could technically swing round the back of E-Arena and play off that. But yeah, it's a difficult push for them. Ulf sends a nade in and will find Pusher off the back of this one. Scarface looking for more, though, as he primes another grenade in the back pocket.
Oh, sends it longer, does tag on to Pusher, but Lemon sails in for the rescue to re-bolster their position. Just making sure that Ulf are a little bit slower on it. There's that second nade, that third nade coming in through as well. Flip looks to try and back off the angle. Lemon draws attention. The res is necessary here for Mad Bulls to make the move. Lemon doing a lot to distract here, but it seems like Scarface is dogged in his pursuit. The nades will not stay away, and Pusher is burnt out. But it was a little bit of a step too far as Joker able to land the shots to Scarface.
That is devastating for Mad Bulls on this south side. Losing a player like that is really quite painful. Aaron's still up and available, taking some pod shots, but more nades pouring over the top as the arena starts to realize where they are. DRX down to just one player in QXZ as the rest of the team attempts to crawl back over towards him for some emergency triage. Doran finally falls in 5th place as Ulf remains up and in this game.
The arena trying to move through. Tourniquet goes down, and it's now just Joker remaining. DRX playing as a solo as well. If they don't get this res, a nade is being cooked now, and QXZ wants the shot, wants the shutdown, looks for Joker, goes a little bit long with it, but Mormon might not be long for it either. The nade in response, QXZ breaking out wide. In the meantime, the Mad Bulls are making moves too. Ulf in the fight too, and trying to stay alive in and amongst it. Mad Bulls now still have the numbers advantage. The nades, the Molotovs, putting pressure on E-Arena. But what's going on the south side, Blank? Who's going to be able to take control of that roadside?
QXZ looking for the full squad wipe over towards E-Arena. Joker on the low ground, starting to move up. Nade sent long, slightly off target though. Immediately sends another, lets it bubble through. He's just littering the ground with those mines, but is it enough right now? QXZ needs to step up, knows roughly the direction he's coming from. Tourniquet attempting to provide that information back from inside the bush. QXZ extremely low now, needs to step up soon, but Joker might just make it happen with this final nade.
In the meantime, Mad Bulls going toe-to-toe with the remnants of Ulf. They are 2 players standing. Tulika unlikely to get back up here, and they've got the angle. They step up around the side of the tree. The Mad Bulls were able to claim it from the ditch. Ulf could not hold them out. It looks like it might be a little bit ropey for a time there, but they play off one another beautifully. And the Mad Bulls reclaim their spot towards the top of those tables.
I mean, for Mad Bulls, what a great way to finish that out. I mean, taking down the entirety of APG in such short order as well on the position that won them the game.
They weren't really fully tested going into this. I feel like no teams were trying to take away good positions out of Mad Bull's hands, and they were just given strong positions
Yeah, I really want to wait.
in the field on the rest of this PMGC Gauntlet lobby. So very well executed. And there's a 20-point bomb here, Hot Jukes. Coming out from the Mad Bulls. They were looking good after their win yesterday. And here they're going to solidify their position in that top 7.
Yeah, I'll take that all day long. Beautiful rotations there for Mad Bull. One of those points, and it worked out perfectly for them.
I'm so happy they got the win earlier on in the day. I mean, yeah, it wasn't the big showstopper. Miramar, I could see it.
Totally possible. Look at that lemon. 5 eliminations, 644 damage.
Down, but when you're in nade range against Alpha 7, guess what? You don't want to slow things down. And that is going to cost them to go even low on the rankings here, down to 11th position.